Today we're in Park City looking at this very special modern home, and what makes this house unique is the blend of ultra-modern features and the really rustic natural elements we chose to use on the project. Hi, my name is Misha Ganom. I'm an architect based in Park City, Utah. I primarily specialize in custom high-end residential homes. As my first solo project, this project's really special to me. It's very dear to me because I had countless hours of experimentation, learning, iteration on this job to try and make it perfect. And it gave me a lot of confidence for subsequent projects I had, knowing that I was maybe doing the right thing with my career. I would describe this home as a vessel to experience nature. I think all the broad vistas of glass allow you to see in and out of the home and really connect you to the location we're in. It was really critical to the builder that if we were creating such a modern home with all the steel and glass we intended on using, that we had a material like wood that we could use to contrast all the machined elements that we're including in the house. I actually spoke to a lot of colleagues of mine in the architectural field and asked them, who do you go to when you're using reclaimed products on your house? There was only really one answer, and that was Trestlewood. You know, why we selected Trestlewood, especially the NatureAged product, is that it is something that is intrinsically connected to Utah as the place. And I think there's something about wanting to have a timeless feel to the architecture where you could blend the modern and traditional features of both. Character is always important when thinking about the project. And I think, although we're gonna look, really modern and have our clean lines, I think there's always a story to tell, and you want the project to be interesting. And I think it's those elements like the NatureAged product that really do well in a house like this. And the most important part to me is experiencing the art, and I'm happy that you guys get to experience that today with me. So let's go on in. So when you first walk into the house, you enter in the great room in this central space that's kind of interconnected with the dining and the kitchen. And what we wanted to achieve is also the potential to go outside. So instead of fixed panels, we chose to go with big sliding glass doors, kind of extend this living space out. With all the glass, one thing that was really important was trying to anchor this room in a single element. And the NatureAged fireplace was something that we felt was a beautiful focal point with the glass on both sides that we could wrap on all four sides with the NatureAged to kind of bring the warmth we had on the outside in. And it was kind of appropriate as well, being on the fireplace, to opt for something that had the texture and the interest that this product has. So in addition to using the NatureAged product on the fireplace, we thought it might be interesting as well to incorporate it going down a hallway, which kind of gave us an opportunity to hide doors, the powder rooms, mud rooms. Instead of having a really boring utilitarian hallway with a bunch of doors for the powder room and mud room, we thought it'd be interesting to clad this in the NatureAged and hide those doors. We used a textured material palette on door handles and stone baseboards to kind of complement the character that the NatureAged has. So heading outside, one cool aspect of what we felt the NatureAged kind of blended with was our exposed steel beams coming out of the roof. It was kind of a callback to the mining architecture of Park City where those two materials kind of blended. We opted to do steel edge details so we could miter the siding and kind of embrace the imperfection on each board while still kind of giving it a really clean and defined aesthetic all the way around the house. Coming down from the main level to the lower level, we wanted to use the NatureAged product as a backdrop for our suspended stairs, kind of tie into the callbacks we had with the exposed steel beam that's holding up the stairs and the exterior materials kind of permeate in around the windows. We wanted to kind of blur that line between inside and outside. So with all the glazing we have in this two-story stairwell, we almost wanted to create a blurred line between the interior and exterior in this space. Carrying that material palette that we had upstairs, we were hoping to kind of influence the rest of the material palette in the basement, picking a matching slate stone or wall coverings that kind of complemented the tones brought out by that NatureAged product. So we wanted everything to kind of mesh well with that really dominant design choice we made. For the exterior, at the back of the home, these big focal chimney columns are what we kind of chose to wrap in the NatureAged, coming down all the way to the ground. We thought of it as a good way to break up the stone wainscoting that we had around the house at certain portions and bring that natural material down to the patios, at the pool, at the hot tub, and create a kind of sense of warmth that you could enjoy while being outside here. After choosing the NatureAged product, we went through and kind of picked the darkest grays and browns that we had in the batches of wood and used that to kind of inform the tones that we selected in the stone. So those dark gray boards that you have mixed in there will kind of wrap around and tie into the dark grays that we have on the home. Another Trestlewood product that we chose to use on this house was mushroom wood, and we used that to create a relief on the board form concrete columns that support the entry steel that holds up the roof. And it was just another element that we could add to warm up something that otherwise would have been really flat and cold by giving it a character that kind of mirrors the wood siding that's on the walls. Thanks for coming along. It was so fun sharing this experience with you and being able to show you around this beautiful property. This being my first home, I'm really proud of this project, and I think it is kind of a legacy project. I hope that at some point I have a career retrospective and look back to where it all began, and I think this project's always going to hold a really dear place in my heart. I think the legacy I'm trying to leave behind with the project is that whoever experiences the home presently or in the future, feels the warmth of the home, the feelings we tried to evoke. I think the harmony and the contrast between the interior and the exterior and the feeling that evokes is the legacy that I'd hoped to leave behind with this project. It was a pleasure working with Trestlewood, and Brad Nate at the Linden office was super helpful in helping us select the right product and give us confidence that we're putting the right wood on the home. I look forward to the next project with Trestlewood's quality character wood.